This is New Year's Eve day, and it is the 15th day after Super Typhoon Odette, international name Rai, came through the central section of the Philippines, going north and south. Hit northeast Mindanao, hit the Visayas region, a little bit of Luzon, Leyte, Samar, Bohol, Cebu, and off into Negros and Panay Island, Palawan Island, many other islands as well. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about life in the Philippines as it is at the present time, 2 weeks after this major storm. A little bit about the damage, a little bit of news, a little bit about New Year's Eve celebration, what might or might not be going on here. I've been here about 6 years, experienced quite a number of very interesting New Year's celebrations here in the Philippines. And a little bit about the New Year. So we'll get into all those subjects a little bit. Anyway, at the present time, our water, I live in a condominium in the uptown area of Cebu City, and a few days ago we were able to get our water back on. And just the other day they delivered, a water truck delivered water, and what they deliver that to a tank in the basement area is my understanding. Then they use electricity to pump it up to a tank up on the roof. Therefore you got gravity feed coming down. For many days, we had a generator, and my first comment when the storm came through, I hope they have enough diesel to keep this thing running. And about a day and a half later, the diesel ran out. Took them another week or more to get a load of diesel in, and at that point in time, they were having a problem with the generator itself. Apparently, it's old, and it might come on for a few minutes, might come on for an hour or two. You never knew what time of day or night it was going to come on. But it kept us going. The little bit that it did. I've got a little solar panel, a small solar panel that, a day like today and yesterday, it would have been pretty much useless, totally useless, because there was no sun, and there was rain on off and on. Absolutely the last thing anybody needed here. But under the present situation, the first week and a half, there were long lines at ATM machines, for instance, at banks, because internet was down as well, still is for us. Very few places have internet at this point in time. That means your ATMs aren't working. I met a couple from Bareilles and from Toledo on the west side of Cebu Island. Their ATMs were not working because the internet was down. So they came all the way over, about 50 kilometers, I think, over here to Cebu, hoping to use the ATMs over here, and they were able to get their cash out. Anyway, we now have, our electric came back on a couple days ago, came on, went off, came on, went off, and it finally came on and stayed on. It's been on for a couple days now. So we got our fridge back. We've got the air conditioner back, although we have almost hardly used it because there's been a good breeze and it's been cool enough. We're in a bit of a cold spell, nothing like a cold spell you would imagine in the northern climates in the wintertime, but it's much cooler than average this time of year. And anyway, so we have water, we've got drinking water, we've got water at our faucet, our tap, so we filled some containers just in case that goes off again, used for washing dishes. We used paper plates for quite some time so we wouldn't waste water. I took a long motorbike ride yesterday, hobble, motorbike taxi, and I also took a very long walk yesterday to view some of the damage. I've got some video of that I'll put up once we finally get internet. I've tried a number of ways of uploading that. I've tried using my phone data, and I just have not been successful in uploading those large files. Anyway, there's as far as the electric, many places still do not have electric, do not have water. Very few people have work at the present time, so you see what you see on the street. You see a lot of people out on the street. And because their homes have been demolished, the roofs have been ripped off, it's dark, there's very little breeze in their homes, so there are tens of thousands of people out on the streets looking for food, looking for water, just getting out and I wouldn't say enjoying, but appreciating the fresh air, if you will, out on the street. Now, I must say, I'm not, I'm going to make quite a number of observations, tell you about some of the damage that I've seen. I am not complaining any of my observations. I've got it much better off than many people do. I was able to share a little bit of water with a friend. We were able to use a friend's butane cooker to cook up some Christmas Day meal for some friends. And anyway, you survive as best you can. Filipinos, I must say, they're survivors, and they're doing what they need to do to survive. In my walk, I've noticed there's a couple of things. Those who have transportation and money, many of those people are going out of town. They're going up north, the island of Cebu, for instance. There was little or no damage, so they've got electric, they've got water, they've got internet. So many people have gone out of town, either to northern Cebu, to Bantayan Island, Malapascua Island, or they've gone gone farther out to other islands to get out of this area until it becomes somewhat normalized. On the other hand, there are a lot of people, and I've been out a couple times, and you wonder why all this traffic? Where are all these vehicles coming from? Where are they going? And I can view the national highway from here, and just a steady stream of cars coming in the morning and evening. And I suspect that a lot of people from the provinces that have had their electric, they might be in the coastal areas, they've had damage. They might be on the mountain, they've had a lot of damage. They have come into town hoping to find some respite, find food, electric, water, what have you. But what's happened here, the hotels and apartments, condominiums with electric and water, they're pretty much booked up full. And so I see many streets where there are just long lines of cars, vehicles, where you wouldn't normally see them. So I suspect a lot of people are ending up sleeping in their cars, their vehicles. I saw one guy with a truck yesterday. He had a tarp, and he was putting it over the back for his family to sleep under that tarp at night. So people are it's tough times. People are doing what they can to survive. And because there's little news, little information, because many parts of this area of the Philippines still they're not able to communicate with cell towers are still down. Ours is off and on. It'll go from off to very slow to very good with 4 and 5G speeds. But you never know. You can be sitting in the same space and it'll bounce around. So I'm just hoping that this feed goes up. And this is the first time I've really done a live feed. So I'm seeing a few. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to my phone, but I see a few comments coming up. Appreciate all the good wishes and all the advice that I've gotten from so many of you. Some of you said, "Yeah, go out of town," and we considered that. One problem going out of town, going to Vantage Island, for instance, up north. Most of the places are booked, and I suspect they did not plan on having thousands of people arriving. So they, a hotel, a restaurant, whatever. Happy New Year's. Yeah, Happy New Year's to all of you. Merry Christmas to those who I didn't wish Merry Christmas to. Happy holidays to those who are celebrating other holidays, and definitely Happy New Year. May this New Year be very, very, very good to everybody. Anyway, I'm sure they're going to go to a restaurant up there, and they're going to say, "We're out of stock, sir. We're out of stock." And we have rice, and Vantage Island is known for its eggs. They ship eggs all over Cebu and several other islands as well. So you could probably have eggs and rice, perhaps. But I've read that pork is in good supply through the holiday season, and prices will not be going up. I suspect over the next month, you look at these farms, especially out the farms in the mountains, produce farms, that a lot of these farms have been devastated. They will salvage what they can, ship to the various markets, local markets and the bigger markets like Cebu City. They will have to replant at such time where the soil becomes workable, not drenched, not soaked in water. And then, depending upon the crop, you wait a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months for a harvest, and then you transport that in. Now, they have laws here about essential goods not increasing the price. They've got price controls. We'll see how that works. There have been a number of people who have been caught buying and selling gasoline at big markups, buying and selling other necessities and marking them up, hoarding items. There are laws against that sort of thing, but I paid as little in another condominium. I have paid as little as 15 pesos for 5 gallons when I went. There was a water purifier just on the same street I was on. I'd walk down and carry it. If I paid somebody to deliver it, it was 20 pesos, 40 US cents. I now pay, usually when you're in a condominium, going rate is about 40 pesos, about 80 cents for 5 gallons of water, which is decent, very decent. I paid the other day 100 pesos a piece. And I don't mind that. A guy came with his pickup. He picked up our jugs and jugs from many other people, and went to a water purifier and got them filled, brought them back, and then I paid somebody 500 pesos, 10 US dollars, to carry those 3 containers up the stairs. And well worth it. Well worth it. I could have done it, but it would have been a heck of a workout. Anyway, let's see. I did notice yesterday and I read there are crews coming in from other cities. There are utility crews to help hook up electric lines around the city, around the province. I've been using data. I'm using data on the phone now. As far as shopping, a lot of stores don't have their internet set up. So I've gone out shopping a couple times the last couple days, smaller stores where they would usually take a credit card and, hello, Australia. And their internet system wasn't working, so cash. And I've been trying to conserve cash as much as possible because I would rather not go get in another line to get cash out of a bank. But anyway, you do what you have to do. Let's see, going down a list of things here. A little bit about the destruction, I guess. Walking. Now, when I did a live feed, but it wasn't really a live feed. I made it private so that I could, because I hadn't done it before, so it wasn't comfortable. I made it private, unlisted until I could view it, and then I turned it up. But I made a statement that after the storm, and that storm in our building, it was like 2.5 hours of earthquake. Our building was swaying, my lights were swaying. I did not hear any cracking and creaking. If I had heard that, I would have exited the building. About 40 people did go down to the lobby. I don't think that would have been a safe place if the building was going to collapse. They wouldn't have time to all get out the door and run a block away. But anyway, it was a heck of a storm. I looked out from our balcony and I made a statement. Happy New Year to everybody. Davao is the place to be, Frank says. That would be an option. Anyway, I looked out over our balcony and I looked at some of the damaged roofs, and I told a couple of people I thought the damage would be much worse than what I see looking out my balcony. And after walking around for a couple of days, riding around on a motorbike, I will say that there's a lot more damage than I saw from my balcony anyway. Big pieces of sides of buildings. I think over in Mandawi, the Chunghwa Hospital seemed to handle it pretty well. The hospital next door, the UC, I think it's UC Medical Center, they had many windows knocked out from what I could see. Appeared to be. Imagine being in a hospital or a nurse or doctor in a hospital when all those windows start blowing in. There's a hello, North Dakota, minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't miss that at all. At least once a week, I watch a storm chase. It's called Storm Chasing Channel on YouTube. I watch the storms. I watch the snowstorms. I watch the wrecks on the highways. And I've been out there. I've done that many years. I've driven through blizzards, 20, 30 below zero. Whiteouts where you can't see the road, but you can't stop because you're afraid somebody's going to run into you. Oh, been out there and done that. And do not miss it. Hello, Vancouver. Happy New Year. Anyway, I'm using my phone, and a new phone I had to buy. My last phone quit working. This is a OnePlus Nord for about 15,000 pesos, I believe, about $300, and I'm pretty happy with it. OnePlus is kind of a unique brand, and just recently that it came into there was only one supplier here in the Philippines. Seems to be doing a pretty good job anyway. Anyway, the destruction, there are over by Robinson's Galleria, you're kind of looking off in that direction over to the center right. There's a kind of a light tan building. You can't see it from this vantage point, but I walked by there last night, used my flash to try to take a picture. The second and third floor of that building, which are probably retail, were planned on being retail. That project has been running quite late, is what I've been told, which is probably good, because the second and third floor looks like the walls totally collapsed in on that building. And the supporting beams are still there, but the walls itself went crashing in. Yeah, the peso back up around 51. I read that it'd probably go back up. When I came here in 2015, it was 45.5 to the U.S. dollar. So anything close to 50 is good for me. When they originally set that up, I forget what year it was, they set it at 50 pesos to the U.S. dollar. And it is, you can go online and you can check the date over the years and months for not just the U.S. dollar, for your currency, wherever you're from, Australia, Europe, Germany, Britain. You can check and you can look at how it's fluctuated historically. Interesting information. So anyway, getting back to the situation here, the governor, I believe Governor Garcia of Cebu Province, has in a news statement today said we're going to look into buying a generator for each barangay. The barangay being the village, the smallest political entity within a city, within a province, buying a generator for each of them so that they can run water, do basic things, run some basic lights or something, computer systems. Government aid coming in. There's aid coming in from different agencies. There's aid coming in from different nations. There's aid coming in from the Philippine federal government to these areas. The aid out to the people really comes down to the local city, the local town, the local barangays. Lapu said they're going to give 5,000 pesos, 100 US dollars out to people who've had their house damaged. I have helped a family or two a little bit. There's so much need here. Everybody I talk to, every hobble motorbike taxi I take, my house is demolished. I don't have a job anymore because of this, and you really feel for them. And for those of you who want to donate and help out in any way, there are sites where you can go and find the reputable charities. I'm not involved or sponsoring any of that type of thing. Enough people involved in that already. I think Car City, which is south about an hour or so from Cebu City, has offered cash for work. People, indigents, basically, if they will go out and help clean up various areas. It's about 300 pesos a day for 8-hour work, about $6 a day, which is, I think, pretty close to the minimum wage. 18 degrees in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, I've been to Seattle a number of times. Was offered a job up there, and love that city. Love the city, the way it used to be anyway. You have solar, Chris Bartlett, you have a solar setup in your town. All right, that's good. I wish I had a battery backup too, solar and a battery backup, because I can't charge the solar system I have. It's just about the size of a big book, and it folds out into 3 panels. I laid in the sun on a table on my balcony or out my other side window. And that's not enough. There's no way to hook it up to my computer and charge my computer. I don't think, unless I had, I would need some type of inverter or something, I think. Are you going to move out of the Philippines, Sir Rod? No, I don't plan on doing that. I did a video a couple of years ago. Why would I leave the Philippines? And there are a number of reasons. If the Philippines made it right now, the Filipino people are they're very welcoming. They're very accepting. They're very tolerant. If that changed, I would consider some other place. The cost of living is very reasonable. It's really up to you what your cost of living is. You can live dirt cheap. If you want those conditions, you can live middle class, or you can live high class, depending upon your budget. You have those choices. Let's see. Anyway, I love the Philippines. I love the Filipino people. It has a lot to offer. There are challenges, but there are challenges everywhere. Just today, there's a huge grass fire up near Boulder, Colorado, and they've totally evacuated 2 towns up there already, up to 100-mile-an-hour winds pushing that fire and destroying homes, destroying livelihoods. Ice storms across the U.S. and Europe can bring down lines and make it very difficult, challenging to live. Tornadoes that hit many states in the U.S. a month or so ago killed many people, destroyed lots of property. You know, there are risks to living pretty much any place on Earth. And when we choose to, like, people have commented to me, well, I can live for less. I can live in a better place, such and such a place in the U.S. or Europe or something. Well, yeah, we most of us don't come here just for the cost of living. There are many factors. The culture, the people, the friendly people. Cost of living is a factor, and a major factor for many people. Anyway, we're looking from the uptown area across. Kind of center right is Robinson's Galleria, the Robinson's Galleria condominiums. Off center stage is SM Mall, Radisson Blue Hotel. Off to the left, can't see it because of the side of our building, is Cebu Business Park, where Ayala Mall is. And further way off in the distance, on the other side of SM Mall, is Mandaue City. And you'd have the immigration in J Center Mall over there. And I was over there to meet a friend for coffee yesterday. And they have moved immigration, for those of you who go to the immigration. I mean, it's still on that same floor, the second floor of J Center Mall, but it's around a different hallway. And it's a little different setup. Will be interesting to see how it operates. Hopefully more efficient, but it's closer to the pretty good restaurant up there called World Travelers Resto Bar. I've done a number of videos there over time. And for those who don't know, I've been doing videos since 2015. I think I started really publishing them about 2016. I've got, I do a lot of real estate related videos. I'd have these, always carry a camera, and I'd have these real estate people in the mall say, come and look at my condominium or my subdivision right now. And so I'd go and I'd do a video and I'd put it up. And turned out there was a lot of interest in that. What's available? How much does it cost to rent, to buy? So anyway, I've got videos about cost of living. I've got videos about traveling to various islands, how to travel, where to travel, cost of travel. And I will continue doing those sorts of things. Hope to travel a lot more in the coming year. In fact, let's get to some of those things. As far as New Year's Eve celebrations, a lot of the big resorts over on the east side of Mactan Island that would put on big celebrations. A lot of damage over there. Shangri-La, for instance, I've heard they've got a lot of damage. And And Shangri-La isn't going to open for a couple months, 2-3 months is what I've heard, and other resorts over there as well. I think it'll be pretty subdued. A couple years ago, I really enjoyed the first 3 years I was here, 15, 16, 17. I mean, you go down on the street and just experiencing the Filipino way of partying, of celebrating New Year's and Christmas and other holidays. They don't need much of reasons, but it's like a war zone. Everybody has fireworks, and it was just amazing to experience that going on. And in the last 3 years, I guess, they put the kibosh on a lot of that. That culture pretty much no longer exists. Maybe once you get out of the big city, maybe it's still allowed. I think Lapu-Lapu City, I read an article this morning, they're still allowing fireworks, and it's not allowed in Cebu or Mandaue, I don't think. But there have been fireworks going off since before Christmas. Not a lot, but a little. Some things flying up in the air. And I grew up in the Midwest in Minnesota where they were outlawed. But every 4th of July, Independence Day, somebody would come by. 1 or 2 people would come by with. They'd go over to South Dakota, I think, buy fireworks where they're illegal. They'd come by with a trunk load, their vehicle trunk load, full of fireworks, and we would buy fireworks, firecrackers, cherry bombs, what they call cherry bombs. Don't want that thing to blow up in your fingers. It was bad enough to have those little ones blow up in your fingers. You get a blister that would hurt for a few days. But just because there are rules and laws doesn't mean, and the reality can be completely different. And that's a good video for another time, perhaps. Reality, and there's over these last 2 years. It's been 2 years. Last January, December, when they started finding this virus, and pretty much the world's been shut down almost for 2 years. And what you read in the news, what the authoritarian governments, the restrictions they put into place, and what reality is out on the street here in many countries can be two different things. Discussion for another time, another video. Maybe another channel. YouTube doesn't like certain types of discussion. So we might have to move some of that discussion to a different platform. There are a number of platforms now that millions of YouTube channels, millions of YouTube watchers have gone to other channels, and I'll do a video about that at some point in time too. There are options out there, but YouTube is still the biggest. Anyway, there are a few bars in town. I've heard that are running on generators. They don't have electric yet. Well, one does. I think the Howling Dog has electric. They're near some. They're in some area where it was very important to get it on because there are some other government facilities needing electric there. So I think he came online. I think the Philly bar might have electric. Not absolutely positive. I think they do. Billy's bar. He used to own what was called El Gecko. El Gecko is now Howling Dog, for those of you who don't know. The guy who had whole Howling Dog, they shut that area down. I think they're going to build a condo or something there. And he bought that space, or rented at least it, where El Gecko was. And that is now Howling Dog. And Billy, the guy who lost El Gecko in a marriage or girlfriend type situation, apparently he had this is what I've heard, and I've met Billy. I've talked to him. He lost a lot, not just that, but some other things as well. But he opened up a new place up on pretty close. It's on Oscario Street, just to the north, I guess, north of Gerardo Avenue. A new place. I stopped in there one night, had a beer. Not sure if he's open or not. The 301 Ramos Bar, which used to be the Time Out Bar. They got a pretty good menu in there. I think they're still running off a generator. But I know they've had bands in there, and they've got a pretty good menu. One of the best pulled pork sandwiches. I have, in fact, the best pork. Pulled pork is very difficult to find here. I found one place at a Korean place. It wasn't anything similar to what I would normally expect, but they pretty good burger, and they put on a Christmas feed. I think they even put on a Thanksgiving. I think that's where I had Thanksgiving, as a matter of fact. So anyway, there are places, and you really have to just check with the locals to find out what's going on locally. What else here? Ultra Lapu. Going forward, new year, 2022. As far as travel, this whole central area that got hit with the typhoon, that's a lot of the domestic tourism is going to be put on hold for a number of months, just because of the damage that was done, the infrastructure that was damaged. As far as international travel, at this point in time, there is no hint that I've seen any place in the news that they're going to start opening up additional with this new variant. One nice thing is as these viruses mutate, like the flu, different every year. The world has learned to live with it. Influenza. And I think more and more governments are going to decide that they have to learn to live with this and deal with it. The cost, and this is another topic for another time, another channel perhaps, the cost of the lockdowns to people, the deaths that it's caused, the destruction that it's caused to livelihoods, the poverty it's throwing hundreds of millions of people into. Anyway, not going to get off on that topic. So anyway, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath, but the Philippines still has a lot to offer. There are challenges here like there are anywhere, so you make choices. And anytime I get frustrated, it's like, well, where are you going to go? What are you going to do about it? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? What are the problems you're going to deal with there? So anyway, thank you all for coming along. And perhaps I'll learn a little more about doing a live stream here in the future, and perhaps have a better. I've just been able to catch a few of these comments, and I really appreciate all of you who are out there watching this. I didn't give any heads up. I was trying to upload a regular video, and I kept running into dead ends everywhere I did it. Every way I tried to do it. Anyway, thank you so much. Best wishes going into the new year, and like I say here, wherever you're at, I walk down the street, I greet almost everybody. Hello, good afternoon. And I usually get a happy response. They don't know who I am. They know I'm a foreigner. They don't know who I am, a good guy, bad guy, indifferent. They don't know what language I speak. And not only is it good for me to say hello to somebody and get a response, it's good mentally, which if something's good for you mentally, it's good for you physically. I tried that. After I was here for 6 months, I went back to the U.S. for a month, and I tried that in the U.S., saying hello to people. Boy, they were really standoffish. I asked one guy, I said, what do you think when somebody starts talking to you? Well, we think you're a panhandler. You're gonna ask us for something. You're gonna ask us for money. You're gonna something like that. So people get very defensive. Here in the Philippines, the great thing about the Philippines, people will look you in the eye. They will smile. They will greet you. But it helps if you do it first. Like I say, they don't know who you are. And anyway, I'm going to sign off. I really appreciate, these last 5+ years, 6 years, 35,000 subscribers, and the loyalty, the group of loyal subscribers and viewers out there. I will try to continue to put up useful information, interesting information. Pardon me for my occasional dry humor. And I will try to up my quality a little bit as well. Up my quality. With my software, I can do all that fancy stuff. I can do the fade in and fade out and all these transitions and slow speed and high speed and all that stuff. I can do that, but I don't think most of my viewers are really entertained by that type of thing. I think you're looking for information. You're looking for some level of comfort, perhaps, about the Philippines and information about the Philippines, and I'll try to continue to do that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Best of wishes to all of you, especially if you're planning on traveling to the Philippines. Wherever you are, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Now, a drone would be good. A drone, especially here the last couple of days, where I walked around buildings trying to get the best shot, and just could not get a really good vantage point. Anyway, I've got videos coming up about construction materials. I've got a long list. I'm not going to run out of topics. Now, I've got to undo this from my... Undo this and try to figure out how to shut this thing down, because there's no... Okay, I think I see it. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Stay safe and stay healthy.